It's Chase H.Q. 2 for the Sega Genesis. Chase H.Q. was originally a 1988 arcade machine from Taito, where you chase down bad guys in an Outrun-style driving game and then crash into them until they catch on fire. At which point you kick them to the ground, shove a pistol into the back of their head, and arrest them. Sounds like a winning combination? Yes, it is. It's been a long time since I've seen an original arcade machine, which I remember being really cool. This version on the Genesis comes across as okay. It's a terrific arcade-style game that's a lot of fun, but the driving controls could have been better. I like that they put a ramp in the middle of the road instead of a turn signal. Just think how much more affordable that would be. You just need to make sure you're going fast enough to clear the intersection. Chase H.Q. 2 comes across as average because the gameplay is not quite as smooth as it is in Outrun or Road Blasters, but the two-stage gameplay and arcade-style scoring makes it totally worth playing. So perhaps it comes out above average, but I think that they could have done a better job with the presentation on the Genesis because other games have done better, like Road Blasters. Another really fun game that suffered from sloppy driving, but it's passable because it's a cool game. What we were watching is the first stage of gameplay where you're given a certain amount of time to catch the bad guy. If you can catch them, which I've done here, you're then given more time to crash into them and make them catch on fire. If you don't complete your objectives, the game ends or you are forced to continue. In each level, you've got 3 turbo powers that you can use to increase your speed. And as you probably noticed from the beginning, there's 3 different vehicles to choose from, each with different characteristics. The fastest and weakest being a Ferrari F40, the middle is a Jeep Cherokee, and then a semi-truck. Hey, it's Nancy at headquarters. Are you wearing your hair differently, Nancy? Don't answer, I can't understand you anyway. Well, that's great. The car falls off the road and magically respawns. Note that you're scored for each car that you pass while you're driving, and the score will increase the more cars that you consecutively pass without running into them. So that gives you incentive to actually drive well. There's a variety of different ways that you're scored in this game. It's a very well-made arcade game. If I sound disappointed in Chase H.Q. 2, it's because the game deserved a bit more polish on the Genesis. But it's by no means unplayable, and if you think this looks cool and you see a copy, pick it up, because it's a lot of fun. Now, Chase H.Q. was released for a variety of different game consoles, and depending on what game console, the game may have slightly different features or different versions. I know it's on the Master System, Super Nintendo, Commodore 64, and Turbografx-16, but this is the only one I've played at least in the past 20 years. And of course, I'll be looking for the other ones now, because it's a fun game. It always amazes me that your car never suffers any damage when you're trying to run into the enemies, though. I mean, they must really build those things well for the police. Here's a look at the Semi. The problem with the slower vehicles is that it's very difficult to catch the bad guys, especially at the later levels when the game becomes really challenging. I ended up using a continue. You definitely want to save your turbo powers until you catch the bad guy at the end, otherwise you'll find it extremely difficult to actually destroy them in time. So that's Chase H.Q. 2 for the Genesis, aka the Mega Drive. I think there's even a version of Chase H.Q. available for the Wii Virtual Console. While other driving game series have liberally borrowed the Chase H.Q. style, this is one game that I would not miss if you're into driving combat games. The arcade machine is the best, but if you can't find that, find one for your game console of choice.